Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to tell you about this one, for real. I'm glad we won, but I'm very disappointed about the performance of our starting group. Just terrible. I don't know if there's any other words you can use. It was just a terrible performance. It's like they figured that they had this game won and in the bag, so they didn't really have to show up. And, they got smacked around almost from the, they started off to with a 7-0 lead because Detroit wasn't hitting shots. Then they just got stuck in the mud and played terrible basketball for the remainder of the night. Not much you can say about the starters. I don't even know how much I want to talk about them, but we're going to talk about them. But I really don't feel like being disgusted because I'm pretty much disgusted. And I was afraid in that fourth quarter that Tom Thibodeau, when he called a timeout with, 5 minutes left, I was like, Tibbs, don't do it, bro. Don't bring them guys back in the game. And I was a little bit nervous. Anytime I looked over at him and seeing if he glanced down the bench, I was like, don't do it. He didn't do it. He let the bench go ahead and ride it out, rightfully so, because the starters did not deserve to be in that basketball game. The bench saved us. Big time. Big time. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for the bench play, this game is done. The Knicks lose by 20. Easy. Easy. This is not the way, this is not the way you want to win your third game in a row. You know what I mean? We were supposed to take these guys out by 20 or better, without a doubt. And, our starting group just didn't come to play basketball, act like they didn't want to be there. I won't, listen, Quentin Grimes, I don't put anything on Quentin Grimes. Okay, thrust into the starting lineup. He played his basketball game. He played defense. He didn't knock down his shots. So what? So I'm not putting anything on Quentin Grimes. The rest of that starting group, Mitchell Robinson was okay for the time that he was out there. I guess Mitchell Robinson and Quentin Grimes, like Tony said earlier, got caught up in the mix. But, Kemba Walker, Julius Randle. Kemba Walker, 2 points tonight. Julius Randle, 5 points tonight. RJ played okay. He still had his times where he was just, getting busted up by Amadou Diallo, though. But Kemba Walker and Julius Randle were just terrible. Just terrible, ladies and gentlemen. Alec Burks, he led the Knicks in scoring tonight with 30 points. 34 points, that is. Make sure I got that right. 34 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals. And then you had Emmanuel Quickly, 18 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists. RJ Barrett had 15 points and 7 rebounds. Obi Toppin, he had 9 points and 4 rebounds. Mitchell Robinson, 7 points, 7 rebounds. Julius Randle, 5 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. He shot 18% from the field. He did not make a 3. He shot 1 free throw, and that was on a technical foul. Miles McBride played 24 minutes, played good defense. He didn't score. He only took 4 shots, didn't score. That's okay. I don't care about that. Played good defense, handled the basketball against pressure when it was needed. He had 3 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know, tough one. The guys that we said to watch out for, those are the guys that went to work for the Pistons. Sadiq Bey had 32 points, 9 rebounds. He was eating Julius Randle alive all night long. Amadou Diallo, 31 points, 13 rebounds. He did the same thing to RJ Barrett all night long. Now, was it those 2 guys guarding them specifically all the time? No. But that was their main assignments. Bottom line. To let them guys eat food tonight, man. They went home with a full belly. I got Josh and Tony here with me. We're going to break this thing down. We're going to talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get them over here. Josh, what's popping with you, bro? Your thoughts on tonight's game?
Sam, Tony, what's going on? Cat, MBK, fam, Happy New Year. Almost New Year to everyone. Sam, I look at this game and I break it down into three specific talking points, right? First and foremost, Julius Randle played like straight up trash. He played like straight up trash tonight. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. And it's not just him. It's the entire starting unit. The two guys who, were mainstays of last season coming into this season played like trash. And RJ Barrett's included in that. But Julius Randle, 5 points, and you let Sadiq Bey just cook you like that? That's just absolutely terrible. And RJ Barrett definitely wasn't much better than him tonight. Both of those guys were terrible. Second thing that I want to say, Kemba Walker shouldn't have been playing tonight. Boston was known for keeping him out on the second game of back-to-backs. And I think that, Tibbs should have did that with Kemba, because you can tell he was just laboring out there. He couldn't do some of the stuff that he was doing when he got back into the starting lineup. And the third thing is, and I've been saying this dating back to last season, Alec Burks should be starting. He should be the starting three in that starting unit. I've been saying that for the longest time, and I'm not gonna stop saying it now. He deserves to be in that starting lineup. He's a very, very dynamic player. Not at the point guard, right, but at the 3 position, he deserves to be there. The problem with the Knicks starting unit is, there's going to be games that Randle doesn't play well, and that's on him. But in order for this team to win and succeed, there has to be somebody else to step up. And tonight, with Kemba Walker, his knees being shot, he wasn't going to do that for you. And RJ Barrett definitely is not going to do that for you, because he's not a consistent enough player yet. So, it's just amazing to see the starting unit go out there and play. And something has to change. They got to be able to change this up and do something different.
We'll see. Tony?
Oh, man. I'm going to start with love. So I'm going to say bench squad. Like, bench saved us. You right with that. Josh, I don't know if you was eavesdropping in on the pre-show, but he was. I just told him that
he was.
I feel like Burke should be starting. I think this is one of those other times that we've agreed on something for a long time. So yeah, I agree. I think we need remember I talked about that pecking order? We need a definitive number 2. So whether Julius is on somebody who could take this place and fill that role, or whether Julius is not on, you know what I mean? Vice versa. What I'm saying is we need a go-to option other than Randle in that second unit, and someone he respects. And I think Burks can fill that role. I also think Fournier was watching that bench unit and admiring the way they play and saying that I might be able to get off in this unit. But I think for that to happen, Fournier is going to have to request to rock with that second unit. I mean, so it's not likely, to happen.
I'm just a little. Even last year, I wasn't a fan of him in the unit because I felt like it was too many guys that wanted to handle the ball, bog it down a little bit. I'm not. It doesn't matter to me either way, as long as he can come in and get those minutes. That's all that really matters to me, because he's a guy that Tom Thibodeau is going to put out there and play. So he's not one of those guys that you worry that he's going to make a mistake and he's going to pull him off, because we've seen him have nights like this, and then we've also seen him have nights where he's not hitting at all. You know what I mean? Just like, everybody on this team. So, I don't know if him going into the starting unit changes his production or even changes the production of the starting unit. I think after tonight, it's probably more confirmation to Tibbs that the second unit needs to stay together because they just play well together. I think it's probably more confirmation to Tibbs that they need to stay together.
Sam, to me, it's not even about individual production. Like, RJ Barrett had 15 points tonight, but he still was terrible tonight.
That's what I just said. That's what I just said. I said I don't think he gives the starting unit, he changes their production.
But what I'm saying, it's not about the production. what I'm saying is not about the production. It's about how they play together as a team.
That's what I just said.
Okay.
I get what you're saying.
What I'm saying, Josh, I don't think he changes the starting unit's production, but taking them out of the bench changes their production.
We're saying two different things, Sam.
We're not.
I don't care about the production.
No, what you're saying. No. Hold up. Check it out. Listen to me. Listen to what I'm saying. If you take him out, if you put him in the starting unit, I'm saying I don't think it changes their production. Now, if it doesn't change their production and the bench unit production goes down, how is it making the team better?
I'm talking about that unit together on the floor. How they play together on the floor is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about production. That's what
I'm saying. Playing together equals production. If they play well together, you get good production. If they don't play well together, you don't get good production. What I'm saying is I don't think he makes the unit play better together. That's what I'm saying.
We disagree.
I don't think he does, and I think it takes something away from the bench. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I'm okay with him staying there, because that bench unit is strong.
The bench unit was strong when Alec Burks went to the starting lineup as well. They still were the number one scoring bench in the NBA when he was off the bench because of Quickly, because of Obi, because of a lot of other guys they had coming in, Grimes, right? So yeah, Rose.
I think he keeps that unit very strong. And if that's the strongest unit, when you have your strongest unit, you don't touch it. And I mean, he did, and we went 1-8. He touched it, and we went 1-8 when he touched it. Did we not?
Sam, we're talking about the individual units, not the team overall.
I get it.
That's what you mentioned.
No, you just said you're worried about the team production.
I didn't say anything about production. I'm talking about how they play together on the floor, the starters versus the bench.
Josh. What I'm saying, Josh, when I talk about production, when you talk about production, the team production, the unit production, that is how they play together. How they play together equals production. If they play well together, you get good production. If they don't play well together, guess what? You don't get good production.
Can I make a argument that Josh isn't making? Because I get what you're saying, Sim, and I think part of the problem is the chemistry in the first unit.
That's what I'm talking about.
I think Burks coming in, being familiar with playing with those guys anyway, closing out some games last year and such, I think he might help the chemistry in that first unit. And I think Fournier could fit in seamlessly, and his production can go up in that second unit. That's the argument I'm making. But I get what you're saying about tampering with something that's going good, that's working right now.
Yeah,
I will say this: we got to give. I've been defending Randall all day, and I got to eat crow on that. But I also been defending Tibbs all day, and people got to give Tibbs his respect, because he did not bring that starting unit back in, not a near one of them. He stuck with that second unit the whole fourth quarter, and that's what guys were arguing about, and we got to see it. They pulled it out. So kudos to that second unit, bench mob, and mob deep, as Sim likes to refer to them as. And shout out to Tibbs, because he made the right move.
How many points did they score in all tonight? The bench.
The bench, I think it was 65. 60. I think it was 65.
65. Ron, what's popping?
Outscored the starters and the bench combined.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I hope everybody's doing all right. Tony, Josh, Sim, chat.
We
salute
good.
To y'all.
We just animated, coming off of a win that feels like a loss.
This is what the Knicks should be doing in their locker room. This is what they need to be doing.
No bull.
Yeah, man. I just to say it real quick. I understand what you're saying, Josh. I don't necessarily agree. I think Alec plays better off the bench, but I can see how you could say that it couldn't hurt if you put him in the starting unit, not as a facilitator. Problem is, we had a situation where we needed all of that, and Burks was that guy, and that was a problem. But anyway, I like him better off the bench, though. I think they have the way they flow is just, this reminds me of how they were playing early in the season. Like, this is that, some of that. And it's a different role of players, but the main guys are still there.
Yeah. It's a difficult situation, man. Whoever was talking, I don't know, it was Wally Zerback or whatever. He was like, early in the fourth quarter, he said Tom Thibodeau has a tough decision to make coming down the stretch. And in my opinion, he didn't have a tough decision to make. His decision was made as soon as the bench went on that 17-0 run. The decision was made right there. He knew he wasn't bringing those guys back in. There's no reason for them guys to come back in. You know what I mean? So he made the right move. And I know there was a lot of people nervous and scared that he wasn't going to make the right move. I was one of them. He did make the right move. So, kudos to Tom Thibodeau for that.
And I just want to say, this does play into my whole thing that Julius needs to be benched for one game to get some rest. Tibbs can definitely bring it to him, say, listen, big fella, I need you to sit down, just a game of rest, take it. You've been running ragged all year. Let's just sit you down, get you some rest, because his shooting is just atrocious right now. He needs to get out of his own head, man. He's lost.
Looking at him during warm-ups, right? They showed him on the screen doing warm-ups. And I said to myself, he ain't ready to play this basketball game. I could see it. He was not ready. He looked lethargic. He didn't look like he wanted to go out and play the game, from the way that he was warming up. He was warming up with, what's his name? Doing the little drill that they do where he pushes on his shoulder, and there was no pop.
Kenny Payne.
I knew Sadiq Bey was about to get all up in him. Could see it. And I was worried about it from the game preview that Sadiq Bey was going to go crazy on him because, like we said then, Randall doesn't want to close out. He has a couple of spurts where he'll try to play some tight defense, but it's not enough. And he lets a guy get comfortable. Once a guy gets comfortable, it's hard to stop, no matter who's guarding him. It becomes hard to stop.
Right.
Yes. The Knicks win, ladies and gentlemen, 94-85. It may not sound like it, but they did win. They did win the game, 94-85. The third game in a row, they kept the team under 90 points, albeit a G League team. They out-rebounded the Pistons 48-43. Both teams had 19 assists. Both teams had 11 steals. Both teams had 5 blocks. 16 turnovers for the Knicks, 17 for the Pistons. The Knicks shot 38.3% from the field. The Pistons 37% from the field. The Knicks shot 25.8% from three. They started off the game not shooting well from three. And they didn't finish off shooting well from three. The Pistons shot 34.3% from three, 88.9% from the Knicks from the free throw line, 76.5% for the Pistons from the free throw line. The points in the paint, the Knicks had 46, the Pistons 28. Second chance points, the Pistons 10, the Knicks 9. Fast break points, the Knicks had 15, and the Pistons had 9 fast break points. The Knicks were led by Alec Burks with 34 points. Sadiq Bey led the Pistons with 32. Julius Randle led the Knicks with 10 rebounds. Amadou Diallo, 6'5". Amadou Diallo, 13 rebounds tonight. He's just energy, man. He's active, has a lot of energy. He plays physical. You know what I mean? And anytime you're around, he's bumping, he's banging. You know what I mean? And he's the type of player that you don't want to go up against because you know it's going to be physical. You know you're going to get hit in the lip, in the jaw. You know what I'm saying? Because of the way that he plays, he uses his body well. Julius Randle, 5 assists for the Knicks. Derek Walton Jr., 9 assists for the Detroit Pistons, who actually lost their starting point guard in this game to an ankle sprain. Taj Gibson, 4 blocks, and Derek Walton Jr., 2 blocks for the Detroit Pistons. Josh, I know you had some things you wanted to say about Julius Randle. Jump in there. Don't be mad at me. Jump in.
No, I'm not. Listen, I stand by what I said.
I'm just messing with you, man. Go ahead.
There's no question. There's no question about it. Julius Randle just not playing well right now. He's not playing well. And I think he's actually, his presence on the floor tonight was a detriment to the entire team. Tonight at least. I don't see that same energy in Randle anymore. I don't know what's going on with him, but tonight he just, I agree, Ron. Maybe we need to sit him for a game or something like that until he gets his head figured out or something like that, because he just did not play well tonight. There's no reason why Sadiq Bey, second year playing in the NBA, should be cooking him like that. There's no reason for that at all. And I'm glad Tibbs actually, decided to take Randall out, whenever he got the opportunity to, and he closed the game out with that, not just Randall, but the entire starting unit, and put that bench in there for the last 15 minutes of the game. That was a big move by Tibbs, and I think that won us the ball game. So Tibbs didn't lose us the ball game. He actually won us the ball game for, putting in that bench unit. So, yeah, I don't know. Something's up with Randall. I don't know what's going on with him, but But in any event, when Randall's not playing well, somebody else has to step up, right? And there's nobody else in that starting unit that's willing to step up on a consistent basis. Nobody. And I think that player can be Alec Burks, because I feel like Alec Burks is dynamic enough. He can get to the rack. He can be able to knock shots down. And he can be able to save us in some of these games when Randall's not playing well. So
I just don't think there's anybody on this team that's consistent enough. Anybody.
Well,
that's just where I'm. I don't think there's anybody on this team that's consistent to where you can say, I'm definitely going to rely on this guy because I know this guy is going to do this and that and this and that every single night. I just don't think we have that on this team. I'm in agreement, though. I think, go ahead and let Randall rest, if that's what you want to call it, whatever it is. Give him 3 games or something.
Oh, man.
3 games?
Give him 3 games, man. Yeah. Give him 3 games. And I'm one person who has said, that him coming out of the lineup doesn't make the team better. Well, you know what? I want to see. Why not test it out? Let him sit a couple games. Put Obi in the starting lineup. Let's see what it looks like.
Oh,
why not?
Why there it is. We got the out right there. John from Still Knick Fans, shameless plug. He said Tibbs stated Randall played nicked up, maybe knee, which was pointed out by Wally and Hahn. So there it is, guys. That's our excuse to get him on the bench for a game or 2, just to rest up.
Give him 3 games. Give him 3 games.
It's the perfect time to do it.
Let Obi start. Let Kevin Knox back up Obi. See what it looks like. Why not?
I guess you don't want your second check, huh?
Hey, I guess not. I guess I don't want my second check. I don't know. Randall probably about to call me right now. Like, hold up. Send that check back real quick. Send that check back real quick. Tibbs might double his though, so I'll be all right. I don't know. What do you think, Tony? 3 games too many?
Man, I mean, I'm always gonna root for the team. I didn't like it when Kemba got demoted to situational. So I guess it's all gonna figure on how it's worded. You know what I mean? Like if he could convince Randall to rest that knee, and Randall's like, "Hey, you right? I might be hurting the team right now." Then I'm okay with it. But if you you know what I mean? Obviously, if Tibbs just said the knee, then that's what it's gonna be. So I'm okay with it. If he's limping, if he's injured, get right, because we need you to be right. But if it was just like a demotion type thing, then no, I'm not.
Tony, I think the optics.
I'm not talking.
Look better.
Oh, go ahead, Josh. Go ahead.
I'm saying for Kemba, I think the optics would have looked better if Kemba was in street clothes. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't suited up in uniform. And I think that's what Simmons trying to say. Like, take some time off like Rose. When Rose is hurt with his ankle or his knee or whatever, he's sitting on the bench in street clothes. I think we can do the same with Randall. I think we did it last season for a game. I mean, I don't know the reason. I forgot the reason why, but you can sit him for a game, have him in street clothes, same way they did for an 8 tonight.
Yeah.
I don't see any issues with that.
I mean, I'm saying do it for a couple games, because if you're going to do it, you might as well take a look and see what the possibilities are. Yeah. Why not?
And depending on the severity of the injury.
Yeah, and get a good look at it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying 3 games. Say, hey, we're going to rest you for 3 games. You know what I'm saying? Then we'll bring you back, let yourself get fresh, nurse your injury, whatever it is. But obviously, in the meantime, you're looking, let's see what Obi looks like in this unit. And let's see what Knox looks like backing him up. Because it gives you, and although that's still it's still a small sample size, just 3 games, but I think it gives you just an idea, because who do they play over the next 3 games? They play OKC, right? Then they play Toronto, a game that's going to be physical. And then who's after Toronto?
Pacers, I think.
The
Is
Pacers.
that Boston back-to-back?
It might be the Boston back-to-back game.
See, I think these games are too important right now, to be honest.
Well, then
Now, granted, if the injury,
No, it's the Pacers. It's the
for-
Pacers.
If it's for the injury, I'm for it. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't put a number on it because now you tell it. You know what I mean? Like if you say 3 games, he might say I'm good after that one game did it for me. I needed that one game off. No, I said 3. You know what I mean?
I said, hold on, Joe. I said 3. You know,
That's all I'm saying.
I get it. I get it.
Well, maybe
As
2.
long as-
Maybe if we could get 2.
optics.
2 would be good. OKC and Toronto. I know Toronto's a tough matchup, but they're a tough matchup with Julius there, and we haven't beat them yet. So I would say 2 games is decent enough that we can see the team without him, and he can rest a little bit, get himself right. I mean, hopefully, if it's not that big of a deal. I don't know what's going on with his knee.
I don't know. I don't know. But you know,
what was that last game? Last night he twisted it up.
Oh yeah, that's right. Last night he twisted it up a little bit.
He buckled and all that.
I don't think his play tonight has anything to do with his knee. That's just my opinion.
No, that jump shot was off many a game.
Yeah.
So
I don't think it has anything to do with his knee. But that does give you the excuse to say, hey, we're gonna, sit down for a couple games. But I'm just saying, if you're gonna do it, you might as well get a nice bird's eye view of what the team would look like. And he might, when he comes back, he would probably still start. But now you start to think, okay, if you like the way it looks, then you might start thinking about some other ways to maneuver. You never know. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the job of the team, though. That's the job of the front office. That's the job of Tibbs.
Right. And I ain't mad at it if it's making the team better, and so I'm riding with, like, I'm a Knicks fan first.
If it's because of injury, I have absolutely no problem with it. Sit him and get him healthy.
Right.
But that's my stance. It has to be. It gotta be injury related. Like like you can't. You know what I mean?
I feel you.
It can't be.
It's got to be injury related, and it should be.
They're not going to take him out of the rotation.
No.
I mean, he's not that big. I mean, he's not. The Kemba situation is totally different, and it's starting to go back to what it was before. Ooh, I said that too early. My bad. Sorry.
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah.
I mean, I agree. I'm just saying, if you're gonna do it, you might as well get a look at, and really pay attention to what possibilities could be. The Thrive Fantasy matchup of the night was Julius Randle and Sadiq Bey. Ladies and gentlemen, when you look at it, it does not look pretty. Julius Randle, the first-time All-Star last season, first-time second-team All-NBA, the most improved player, 5 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. He shot 18.2% from the field, 0% from the 3-point line, and he made 1 free throw. Sadiq Bey, on the other hand, second-year player, 32 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. Shot 47% from the field, shot 46% from 3, and was 7 for 7 from the free throw line. That's your Thrive Fantasy matchup of the night, ladies and gentlemen. We went over it in the game preview, and now here are the results. Make sure you go to thrivefantasy.com or download the app, and whatever you decide to deposit, Thrive Fantasy will match up to $100, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? Daily fantasy games for the NBA, for the NFL. Go win some money. Tell them Sim sent you. Use the code NBK, and you get a couple of other nice gifts, free tickets and things like that. Tony, go ahead, man.
How many assists Kemba had? Let's see if any Knicks fans won any money.
Oh man, how many assists did Kemba have tonight? I don't think he met his. He didn't go over 3.5.
Oh man,
he didn't go over 3.5. 2 assists. 2 assists.
Oh
tonight.
Man. Well,
Thrive Fantasy.
2 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds.
Thrive Fantasy had the over under for Kemba Walker's assist total tonight at 3.5.
Oh, Kemba wasn't thriving tonight.
3.5.
At least they matched my money.
Someone called me out in the super chat. I want to respond to that.
All right, let me get to it. Let me get to the phone. I'll get to the phone call afterwards. Let's get to the super chat. You can go ahead and start to respond to it, and then I'm gonna get it up on the screen. Go ahead, Josh.
So he said what Josh is failing to realize is that the entire offense is run through Julius Randle, and that's the problem. Well, I don't think the offense is entirely run through Julius Randle. It's not. Like Julius Randle, and I said this, even if you look at the last game, right? People want to see the Knicks pass the ball more and move the ball. The last game, they were moving the ball too much. They were passing up on shots, wide open shots, right? So I don't think the offense necessarily, the whole thing is run through Randle. There's games where Kemba Walker decides to be aggressive and the offense is running through him and he's looking to set guys up, but that's inconsistent, right? So I think there is a way for the Knicks to do well offensively without Julius Randle in the game. I think that is a possibility, right? But we just need to see consistency. Right now, like Sim said, that there is no consistency from anywhere. I do believe when people want it, when other guys on the team want it, they can be able to take over this game. Like RJ Barrett, for example, right? That Pelicans game, at the end of that game, he took over the game. But that is non-existent now, right? Kemba Walker, he tends to take over sometimes, right? So these players are empowered to do that. They just have to want it and take advantage of those opportunities. Like tonight was a golden opportunity for RJ Barrett to take over, right? But he just didn't do that. We don't have anybody else to really do that. And I think Burks is probably the best other person right now that's currently healthy enough to do it. So yeah.
Okay. Big shout out to Andrew Nash. Thank you for the super chat. He said there's too much redundancy in the starting lineup. I feel the starters were better without RJ starting. The spacing on the floor is not good at all. We're just too slow. Mitch was solid, and RJ should come off the bench. That's Andrew Nash. That's his thoughts about.
Could I respond to that?
Yep. Go ahead.
The first part I agree with. There is some redundancy in the starting lineup, but RJ didn't play bad on the offense.
My goodness.
On the offense, RJ played 25 minutes. He had 15.7 rebounds and a block, and he was 5 of 12 from the field. To me, that's not bad offensively. On the defensive end, if anything, I think that starting lineup is making him worse on defense. I think, unfortunately, he is starting to see how people play on defense, and his effort is waning. He's not putting forth. There was a play where there was a fast break dunk that RJ was right behind the guy. RJ could have challenged that player for that shot, but he just let him go and let him dunk. Like, if you want to be a good NBA defender, you got to challenge everything. My pure example is the game prior with the Timberwolves. It seemed a little silly, but it just, the game is not over till the game is over. You saw Patrick Beverley trying to tie up Kemba Walker, and then Kemba Walker's holding the ball like a baby, and you look at his face, he's smiling, but behind him, Patrick Beverley is with the death stare because the game ain't over. That's what I'm trying to say is a difference.
There's a difference. I seen that, and Ron, I'm glad you brought that up because I was when that happened last night, I was thinking about that. Kemba was, had a big grin on his face. Obviously, it was at the point where the Knicks won, but he had a big grin on his face, and he does it a lot. Okay, cool, whatever. But Patrick Beverley was all about business. And if the Minnesota Timberwolves were leading at that point, he would have been the same way, all about business. You know what I mean? I seen the way Patrick Beverley was addressing his teammates last night, and he wasn't mad at them. You know what I'm saying? But he was directing them and telling them things that they needed to do. He was getting ready to shoot free throws. He's telling them, whatever he was saying to him. And I'm like, that's what this team needs. We don't have one of those guys on this team. We need somebody like that. You know what I mean? I would love to go get a Patrick Beverley to play for this team. You know what I'm saying? Just to bring that type of dog mentality to the floor because, we don't have it. And I want to shout out Neville Humphreys. He gave the super chat that Josh commented to. J. Albino 59, he said, another ugly win. The entire starting unit stunk tonight. I agree. Grimes gets a pass. RJ should get his head right in the second unit. To call Randle leader on the Knicks team is blasphemy.
Isaiah, I wrote that one too. You said I wrote the first super chat.
and this is what Neville Humphrey said earlier. So I just want to get it back up there and give you a big shout out, Neville. I thank you and appreciate you, my man. And then Yellow M1, he said Tibbs is not a good in-game coach. He made adjustments at the end of the third. Kemba and Randle shouldn't play back-to-back games. Read your players. I mean, did he make an adjustment? I don't know if he made an adjustment. He substituted at his normal time of substitution. He just did not bring the starters back. That's an adjustment. So, did he make an adjustment at the end of the third? Not really. He made the substitution at the time that he normally does. The adjustment was really in the fourth when he decided I'm rocking with the bench unit. So still, he did his job. And that's an in-game adjustment. That's an in-game adjustment.
Kerry Cox said, I'm sorry, I don't mean to point you out, but I just have to. Right now, I can never hear it again. Kerry Cox put Westbrook with a question mark. Look, there's two, Kerry Cox, you my boy, I rock with you. There's too much stuff out there. Westbrook is a comedy of errors. He did another one last night. Another one, a 18-foot, jump shot that he was trying to bank off the glass. He hit the top of the backboard. Come on, man. We can't have that guy.
So Ron, here's been my big thing with Westbrook. And again, I'm not even talking about the production in that shot. Westbrook, to me, and I think I felt for years, and this Knicks team needed somebody that, like Sim said, is a dog. That's going to go out and take it. You know what I mean? I get it. And I think to Westbrook's detriment, he does that too much, right? And it can potentially hurt the team. But for us, over the past few years, we haven't had, there's been that lethargic play. That's like a thing, a constant thing, being lethargic. The entire team, nobody having any energy and no aggressiveness. So to me, I felt like a Westbrook kind of mentality and the type of player can be something to help other guys on the team be aggressive. And that's the reason why I was considering bringing Russell Westbrook in here. But I understand where you're coming from. I think he does it too much, right, on a team that doesn't necessarily need it, and it costs him some games. But I understand where that's coming from.
I also don't think that will work. It would be great for the bench unit, but they already got that. It's the starting unit that needs it. And you put Westbrook in the starting unit with RJ and with Randall. Oof. Oh, boy.
Brick City.
I mean, yeah, I couldn't see it. I definitely could not see that working. It's no way that I mean, turnover city. You talk about turnovers. I mean, between Randall and Westbrook, oh my gosh. We'd average 18 turnovers a game. You know what I'm saying? 18 turnovers a game. It'd be mistake city all night long. We'd go.
I'm just talking about the aggressiveness into the Knicks are just completely lethargic. They have these games where no one just seems like they want to play, and I feel like Westbrook, despite all of that, the turnovers and everything, and I'm not excusing that by any stretch, but he just brings a different level of intensity to every team he's been on. He just brings that.
I get it,
and I think that's what the Knicks need. They need somebody like that. If it's not Westbrook, then fine, maybe Patrick Beverley. But they need
that's what I'm saying. That's why I think Patrick Beverley would fit well, because he's not a guy that's going to have to take a lot of shots. He's going to bring that defensive intensity. He'll bring some leadership out there on the floor. You know what I'm saying? He's going to bring an edge with him that we're clearly missing with this team right now. You know what I'm saying? Especially in that first unit. He's the kind of guy that would, I think, fit really well. Would Minnesota part with him? Probably not, because last night I thought the Minnesota Timberwolves really, really played a pesty type of basketball game. They were tough defensively. They had this never die type of attitude. They were just, pesty. You know what I mean? And a lot of that is due to Patrick Beverley. But, would the Knicks be able to get the guy? Probably not, because Minnesota probably doesn't want to give him up. You know what I mean? They probably don't want to get him up, especially when you look at they're going to be bringing back Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell. He's that kind of guy that can be that leader, the leader of the team, even though he's not the main scorer, this and that, but he can be the leader of that team and bring that type of mentality. And we're clearly missing that kind of mentality with this team. So,
well, Sam, he's unrestricted at the end of the season.
Well,
so.
That's true. That's true.
We got to shed some cap space.
Yeah. Spree, what's popping, man?
Oh, man. This is one of my favorite days. Oh, man. I hope you're doing good, Sim. When Alec Burks was in D.C., I told him last year he was the Michael Jordan of this team. I told him that the night before the game in the preseason. He was in Georgetown, and I said, Alec, you have a gift, okay? You have the ball late in the game. You have a gift where you don't care. You don't care about the result. You just put the ball in the hole. I trust you. I'm not saying you're a starter, even though I wanted to force him in there. That probably wasn't the right thing, but it's because I care so much about the guy, because the guy takes care of us as fans. He saved us. He has saved us so many times last year. So I'm just proud of him, man, because there's a lot of Alec Burks haters, and I'm not saying the guy's perfect. He's not MJ. But, man, when he gets going, come on, man. Isn't that fun?
Yeah, it's definitely fun. It's definitely fun when he gets going. No doubt about that.
I mean, do you agree with me, Sim, when the palms get sweaty? I mean, yeah, I like Derek too, but, like, won't you agree with me more than anybody on this team, you probably trust him more to close?
I trust him and Derrick Rose. I trust Derrick Rose. Although, would I say I trust Alec Burks more? Probably, because Derrick Rose is, known to get in the air and throw a cross-court pass is going to get picked off, too.
Yeah.
That bothers me a little bit. But, nah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
I mean, I just and I think he's good, better on the bench. I'm not trying to force him in there. I just think he has a certain skill set where he just doesn't care and he just gets buckets. Like it's a cool thing. And he could go 2 for 10 the next night. I mean, that's just who he is. But he can close, and man, we needed it. We needed it bad. I just don't know. I mean, do you make all the starters situational? I mean, is that what it's going to take? I mean, that's what this team is so weird, man. This team is weird. I have to bench the starters to win a game against the Pistons when they got 7 dudes out. What are we going to do, Sim?
I don't know what we're going to do, man. I'm telling you, I have no idea right now. I'm just being honest with you. I have no clue where we go and what we do, because the player is not on this team to make the kind of changes that we want, I mean, there's Tom Thibodeau. A lot of people have been calling for it for a while. Does Tom Thibodeau say, forget it? I'm just going to start Emmanuel quickly, Alec Burks, Obi Toppin, Taj Gibson for right now, and Miles McBride for the next game. Does he say that? Say, you know what? I'm going to teach these guys a lesson. This is how we rocking with it today. Would you do that, Spree?
I mean, has that ever happened in NBA history?
I don't know, but you know what? You play OKC tomorrow night. It's the perfect time to do it if you're going to do it.
I think Pop did it before.
Yeah, Pop might have did it.
Pop might have did it. I just think, man, I defended Julius, and it's not just a Julius thing. I don't want to just say it's just Julius. It's the starters, but it just I don't understand. The second unit just plays harder. And it free flows, and it's an effort thing, and it's just free flowing basketball that I try to teach my children how to play. I'm sure you as a coach, when you watch it, you know it's right. It's just I miss the Julius from last year, and I keep trying to find him, and I just miss it so much because he was just so much more. I don't know, man. I maybe I overreact, and maybe I put too much into last year. It's over, but I don't know if I'm getting that guy back. I'm just frustrated, man. I'm going to tell my kids about, my parents told me about MJ. I'll tell my kids about Alec. That's all I got. I got nothing else.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. All right,
man. I'll talk to you at the OKC game. We're okay. We're only 1 under. We got to figure it out. This is the weirdest team I've ever seen.
It is weird. It is. It is weird. You know what I mean? And, with all that being said, the Knicks are now 17-18. They moved back into the play-in. They're in the 9th seed in the Eastern Conference. They've won their last 3 games. They're 5-5 in the last 10 games. But, it's still just
5-5 in the last
not
10
looking
games.
good. Caller, you're live, man. You got to turn that down in the back, please. Tell me your name and where you're from. Oh, never mind. Caller hung up on me. Let me get to a couple of super chats then. Andrew Nash said, it's not about RJ playing good or bad. It's about how the team looks when Randall and him play together.
Thank you.
When he was out, the starters looked better.
Thank you.
Talking about RJ Barrett. I mean, is that due to RJ?
It's not about blaming RJ, Sim. That's the thing people people
that's
really,
not what I'm saying. That's clearly though. Clearly. Read the last part. When he was out, the starters looked better. So are you saying RJ doesn't look good in that lineup, or is it just RJ and Randall that don't look good together in that lineup? There's been times when the starters did look good.
This season, when RJ Barrett's out the starting lineup looks much better, and I think RJ Barrett himself fits better on the bench. I've been saying that for the last 13 months.
I don't know. I just think the starting five has looked terrible anytime. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree.
I just think they look terrible anytime. RJ in the lineup or out the lineup, I think they have not looked good. Some nights they do, some nights they don't, or most nights they don't. Some nights they do. Whether or not he's in there or not, I can't point to one person. I'm sorry, I can't do it because they just have not looked good. They just haven't looked good. Yeah, John.
And I would say that I don't think it's about RJ being back and inserted in the starting lineup. Most of the time that I've been watching this Knick team, I just don't like RJ and Randall together. That's how I feel now. Like I want RJ to shine, and I don't think he can do that when he's out there on the floor with Randall at the same time. It's different. Yeah. But it's not about him being in the starting lineup. Just them on the court at the same time.
John from Still Knicks fans. You guys know Still Knicks fans, don't you? You guys know.
I heard about him.
He said, regardless of the severity of Randall's injury, it's time for the Knicks front office to start taking some phone calls and looking for trade options. And I just seen somebody in the chat say that, they've read that teams are not really looking to make moves right now because of COVID protocol and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, we're going to see how that entire thing, how it affects the trade deadline. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Would you guys, for this OKC game, say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start the bench. I'm going to start quickly. I'm going to start Taj and McBride, the whole crew, Alec Burks, Obi Toppin, you know what I mean? Would you? Josh, you're shaking your head, saying no.
No, I wouldn't, because I don't think again, people don't want these. If you put the bench in, if you start the kids, they're playing much better. So, all of a sudden that's going to work. I just don't think that's going to work, because then, I don't know what Oklahoma City's record. I know it's terrible, but I don't know their team situation. But just by playing the bench against other teams starting units, you won't get the same kind of production. So I wouldn't do that. I would, I would consider, benching Randall for his injury, have him come out and street clothes, but I'm not willing to do a complete, turnover of the starters and the bench just for the sake of saying I'm not willing to do that.
Just for the sake of what?
Just for the sake of seeing the bench, start the game off.
For me, it wouldn't be about the sake of seeing the bench. It would be to send a message to the starters that we're not going to deal with this kind of lackluster play. Bottom line, send a message to them. Tony, would you do it?
I get okay.
For that one game, I think that sends a viable message. For that one game, yeah. And I would do what you said, Josh. Have Julius in street clothes. But rest that knee, rest that injury. One game. You know what I mean? Starters, y'all not starting. Play the bench. Send a message to everybody. And now, as the star player, Randall could feel less of a way. Like you would have been on the bench anyway, but you know what? Rest that knee. You get no practice. You know what I mean? Like get that injury together so he don't feel slighted, but he know the truth. And there you have it. I do it for a game.
So in theory, right? And I understand what you think could happen, but in theory, same way I felt about Kemba, you don't think that can have a negative effect in the locker room? That type of move, doing something like that. I've never seen an NBA team do something like that for a game ever. And if you have, let me know what that is. But to me, that's just drastic.
I think Popovich might have done it.
I think that Popovich did it. Might have. Yeah. And I don't remember when it was, but I think he did do it.
I'm pretty sure he did.
But that's coaching, Josh.
And I think he did.
I'm just worried about the the
I think he did it after the Knicks loss. after they lost to us.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to do those things, and you let them know. You talk to them. You say, listen, if you guys are going to play like this, and the bench is going to play inspired basketball, whether or not they can compete with the other team's starters, if they're going to play inspired basketball, this is the culture we came into the season saying, this is what we're about. We play hard every night. We fight every night, no matter what the circumstances. But the starters are not showing that same fight. So how do you send a message to them? What do you do? If you, the ultimate trump card that a coach has is playing time. That's the ultimate trump card. That's the ultimate consequence. If you're not going to use that, then what do you do?
But there's other ways to do it than completely just turning over the entire starting unit.
It's just for a game.
There's other ways to do it.
It's for a game.
Yeah, I got you, Sam, but there's
And
other ways
it's
to do that.
OKC. It's OKC. That's why I would actually consider it.
For me, it ain't about who we're playing. It's about the residual effect in that locker room.
So what's the other way to do it? Tell me, what's another way?
You alter minutes, just the way Tibbs did it tonight. He altered the minutes. He sat the starters down on the bench, and he put the bench in the game.
Right. So why can't you do that from the start of the game? I think that sends a big message. If you that sends a big message. Like, you know what? You guys ain't playing like starters. So why start the game? We want to start with energy.
Okay, Sam, so I made this same kind of argument when I said that maybe Tibbs should consider starting the bench to start off the second half, and you guys were like, no, he shouldn't do that because they started the game. I made the same argument.
You did. But because I believe you start the game one way, that's how you finish it. You just go with it. I mean, obviously you're going to make different changes, but this is not something you were talking about doing this on a consistent basis. You didn't say one game. You said do this every single night. And I think that's a big no. You said do it every single night, that you start the starters and then you come in with a different lineup in the second half because we're not having good third quarters. I'm talking about doing this as one game to shake up and send a message to them. Those are two very different things. Two very different things.
Either way, I still think that there's a possibility to have a negative effect in the locker room by doing something like that drastic. If you want to alter playing time, do it during the course of the game, which I recommended. That's why I said you do something like that at halftime in the middle of a ball game. But to completely start the game off with the bench players, I just think that's too drastic, and there's other ways for you to be able to do it. It showed us you did the whole season.
I don't think it is. I think it sends a message and says, hey, you guys ain't playing. This is what we're going to do. And treat them like bench players. Make them respect the game. Make them appreciate the game. The best way to make somebody appreciate something is to take it away from them. Go ahead, Tone. My bad.
I mean, same premise, but I was just gonna say, even if he asked each and every one of them individually, you think you played your best, you gave it your all last night or whatever the case like, I think each and every one of those guys would say no, and these are the consequences.
Yeah.
These guys deserve it. These guys played hard. And twice. First half and the second half. First half, they brought us back. Starters came back in, lost the lead. Second half, same thing.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not. They know the reason why it's being done, if it's being done. You know what I mean? Like, they can't dispute it. The Kemba thing was different. It was drastic. It went from starting to not playing at all. You know what I mean? He's not saying I'm only playing the bench next game. You know what I mean? But it sends a message. I think it'll be heard loud and clear. And maybe that's what they need. They need some kind of fire lit under them.
So I just think the needle constantly gets moved. It just keeps getting moved. If you do something like that and then it doesn't work, now you got to try to find something else that is just completely drastic. And I think, again, you can lose these players.
You can lose these players
in the NBA, especially in a players' league. I just think I get what you're saying, Sam, and I get it. Like, if this was amateur level, something like that, I think it will work. But in the NBA, it's different when you talk about players' contracts. And I just think, it can have a negative effect. That's all I'm saying. It definitely can have
I
a
mean,
negative
anything
effect.
you do, if you don't do something, it can have a negative effect. Because now the
That's
bench,
what I was gonna say.
now the bench starts to say, well, goddamn, we're playing better than them every freaking night. And you ain't doing nothing about it.
Sam, it's about losing the locker room. It's not about that. It's about losing the
That
locker room.
is losing the locker room. If you don't hold your best players accountable, but you're going to hold me accountable, I'm going to start to get pissed off. If you take
Sam, accountability can come other than playing time. No, you can be held accountable other than playing time.
Bro,
you can.
For basketball players, for any athlete, playing time is the ultimate consequence. That is the ultimate consequence.
Yeah, but you said starting the game, Sam. You said starting the game. That's different than playing time. Because playing time can be also whether you start a bench him.
You're right. It can be. But you treat the bench like they're the starters. That's what I'm saying. You treat them like they're the starters. I think it sends a message, and they get it. They've been playing basketball for years. They've seen it happen. They get it. They know. And they know that they did not come out and perform tonight. They probably know that they deserve to be benched. They know it.
Hey, I'll tell you this, Josh. If your argument is that they should have learned their lesson after being benched the fourth quarter, if that's your argument, then you know what I mean? Fair enough. If you think they learned from this, you know what I mean? Because they should be embarrassed right now that they didn't get to close the game out.
Oh yeah, no question. No question.
So if you think they learned their lesson from that, then that's one thing. But or if Tibbs thinks they learned their lesson, but if he feel like, hey, I'm gonna really teach, you know what I mean? Like it ain't over.
Yeah.
But I don't think Tibbs does that because he always does preach the next game. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
The
I don't
game's
think
in the past, let it go, move on.
I don't think he does.
But I wouldn't be mad at it. One game.
Yeah, I don't think he does that. But, it's not going to look – it starts to look when you have an entire unit coming out and not playing inspired basketball, and this has been happening all season long, it starts to point to the coach that you're not holding them accountable. What are you going to do? Fine them? That's not going to work.
You take their playing time away.
You can take some of their playing time, but you know what? There's a lot of people going to be like, I'm a starter in this league. I'm starting the game. I'm telling you, there's a lot of ways to send a message. That is a big one.
Yeah, but
that is a big one.
I agree with that, Sam. I don't see a big deal with, taking these guys, starting the game and having them sit on the bench, have the bench guys get their little opening segment, they get their names called out, have them feel treated like something special for the effort they put in to win us that game, because without them we would have lost. And we're not talking, to me, it's one thing if you single out a certain player, but you sit in the whole starting group and just saying, listen, sit on the bench for about 4 minutes, let these bench guys get their shine, and when they, when the 4-minute mark comes in, whatever, you bring in the starters. It's just a lesson that everybody sees and everybody knows what's going on. I don't think there's nothing really wrong with it. To me, it's not that big of a deal.
I think it, maybe it could help. You can't sit around and do nothing. Kaiser Souls, thank you for the super chat. He said, I think that the team wants to play one way with ball movement as seen by the second unit, but Randall wants to play a different way, trade Randall. I don't think that's the case, though. I don't think that's the case. Randall, we've seen nights when Randall's not shooting the ball.
Overpassing. The last game.
Overpassing. Right. So I really don't think that's the case. That Randall just wants to play another way. If you want to say he's just not playing good or just not playing good basketball, that's the truth. There's
right.
Nothing you can say about it. I don't think it's, a selfish thing on Randall's part that, I just want to be the star. So, I got to have this and have that, because we've seen different throughout the season. And that's not saying that he's done a good thing by passing up shots or, overpassing. We're not saying it's a good thing at all. You know what I mean? We're saying we've seen him pass up good shots that he should have taken and made bad mistakes in that manner. Let me get to this phone call. Call you live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Yes, NBK family. Salute. Terry from Montreal, Canada.
What's going on, Terry? Thank you for calling in. Appreciate you.
Oh, man.
Yes. Man, thank you for taking my call. I just have 2 points to make. The number one point that I need to make it's about the New York Knicks front office, man. I'm really pleased with what I'm seeing, man. Guys like what they're doing with their picks, McBride's, Grimes, the guys play defense, share the ball. I mean, you can see in the second unit, the ball just don't stick, man. Move the ball goes outside, inside out. As a coach, I love what I've been seeing. And the things with the first unit is that it's not the fact that Randall doesn't believe in the ball movement, but I think that the ball stick too much in a way that if Randall takes decision on a catch and become a playmaker, whether he's trying to score right away or pass right away, is way more effective. The thing that I have with Randall is that often he let the defense settle, and he's like working way too hard for his baskets. You know what I'm saying? And the other thing is, even Fournier, I don't know if even Fournier fit in what we've been doing. Like, I don't want to get back in the past, but a guy like Reggie Bullock is less skilled than Evan Fournier, but he fits more in our philosophy. Plays defense and all that stuff. I don't know if you guys watch Evan Fournier, but doesn't move his legs at all. And I mean, I don't know. And RJ Barrett is a fellow Canadian, but I'm sorry. I mean, he lacks creativity in offense. And what was nice about RJ Barrett last year was in his wide open shot from the outside. Unfortunately, this year that shot doesn't fall, and you can see the lack of creativity and imagination in his game. When you look Alex Burks in the second unit and all those rookie, man, I don't know about you guys, but I'm very encouraged by what I see on some of those young guys.
I'm very encouraged, man. You know, I wanted Quentin Grimes to really play well today. You know what I mean? He started off, he didn't hit a lot of shots. His defense is always going to be there. He didn't hit a lot of shots, so, you know, Tibbs didn't give him as much burn as I was hoping that he would get, but I'm really encouraged by Quentin Grimes, and Miles McBride played well today too. You know,
I mean, you're talking about the guys who play defense. I'm a defensive guy. I mean, I'm very encouraged, man. I just wanted to say also that you guys are doing a great job. Keep us entertained. I mean, love the content. Keep doing it, guys. I mean, we're loving it out here back in Montreal. We're loving it. We're loving it.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for your call, Terry. Appreciate you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Good one. Peace. Big shout out to Lou Wilkinson. Big shout out to you. He said, Sim, Van Gundy and Pat Riley used to pull the starters back in the days if they were not playing to their potential. I mean, you know, yeah, that's an old school trick, man. And Tom Thibodeau is an old school dude. I would love to see him do it just for one game. You know what I mean? Teach him a lesson. And if it causes some strife in the locker room, well, maybe that's the energy they need. I don't know.
And Sam, I just wanted to say I tried to look for it, but when I tried to look for when Popovich did it, that he pulled the starters to start the game, I couldn't find it. So I found another one. But Popovich used to do it all the time because Tony Parker was talking about he used to do it to us all the time. And he did it to them in a playoff series in Game 3 versus Memphis. Just that's, you know, when it needs to be done, they do it.
They do it. Josh Kyle said, when it's not going Julius Randle's way, a.k.a., I'm not even going to read that. I ain't trying to call the guy names. He is like a child, almost like he packs it in. No hustle, no grit, lazy, etc. Time to look at other options. I mean, I don't know. You know, I don't know. You know, I just think right now Julius Randle's not playing good basketball. You know, I bottom line. I'm not going to call them names, though. Caller, you live. What's popping? Tell me your name and where you're from.
Hey, what's going on? Salute to the panel. Salute to the chat. This is Nikki Barrett from Harlem.
Nikki, what's going on, bro?
Show.
Appreciate you, bro.
Just wanted to call in and say, you know, just to remind everyone, this is a win. We're on a 3-game win streak. This is the longest win streak we've had in months. I just don't understand how we could have a coach. Like we're literally getting back to 500. We're in the same place we were this time last year. And now people are questioning the coach. Now people are questioning the star. This exact same coach and this exact same star had us in this exact same position last year. And we were thrilled. And all of the moves, and this is despite all of the failures of the offseason. We went into the offseason knowing we needed a point guard upgrade. Love Kimba. I'm a New Yorker. Love Kimba. Didn't quite pan out. We went into the offseason knowing we needed a more reliable 3-and-D upgrade. Love Reggie Bullock, but second half, he kind of disappeared. We needed someone who could really show up for us in big moments. It didn't pan out. RJ moving from the 2 to the 3 has not panned out. He is less effective at the 3 than he was last season at the 2. Evan Fournier, our big scoring acquisition, was supposed to take the pressure off Julius. He was supposed to be our closer. We're talking about Alec Burks closing yet another big game for us. We paid Evan Fournier more money because he was supposed to be an upgrade over even Alec Burks, and that has not panned out. Despite all the failures of the front office, this coach and this star had this team one game under 500 with the chance to end the year at 500, ready to go into a very soft January schedule. We could potentially put some distance between us and 500. We are in a good position right before the trade deadline. There are holes on this team. We've got some pieces. If the front office hopefully makes a good move, we could be in good position. What we don't want to do is do something rash and start causing divisions in the locker room by benching dudes and embarrassing dudes. It's a much different era than it was 15 years ago with the Spurs. Remember, Randall has been credited as Thibodeau's biggest supporter. You're going to embarrass him? Now, if you lose Randall, we already know Obi and some of these guys are chirping at you. Now you're going to lose Randall? What if Randall, who don't tweet at all, what if he puts out a tweet? Oh, it sucks these rotations. Wish we had a coach who could make in-game adjustments. We have seen players hit coaches with the whole, you don't make in-game adjustments, and then the media goes off. So right now,
you're going to go ahead and just lose the guys who are playing well.
We're doing okay. Stay the course.
So you see, I don't think we're doing okay. That's the thing with me. I don't think we're doing okay. See, last season we were happy to be one game below 500 because we came in with much lower expectations. So to be one game below 500, yeah, we were ecstatic. This year we had much different expectations. The team had different expectations. We have different expectations, and it's not going as planned. Clearly. You know what I'm saying? Last year, Julius Randle. But hold up. Last year, Julius Randle, up to this point, was playing very well. He was playing very well. And yes, that was powering the team to be below 500, just one game below 500. This year, he's not the reason that he is the reason that we're one game below 500. And that's not a good thing. See, last year, he was the reason that we were one game below 500, and that was a good thing. This year, he is the reason that we're one game below 500, and it's not a good thing. Or he's part of the reason. He's not the reason. I'm a Randall supporter. He's not the reason. He's part of the reason that we're one game below 500.
The entire starting lineup took a step back.
What'd you say?
The entire starting lineup took a step
Exactly, which is one of the reasons why I'm in agreement and feel it could be a good thing to say, you know what, you guys are not playing with energy, I'll bench you. And I'm going to let you know that I have standards and how I want you to play. You know what I'm saying? And to me, if that causes certain players to be pissed off, not pissed off like I want to play better, but pissed off at the coach, then I guess you're just not coachable. Because that's what coaching is. And that's what you expect your coach to do. Your coach is supposed to hold you accountable.
20 and 10 games. We weren't having this conversation over the last week. Now we talking about taking him out of the lineup?
I'm talking about the entire unit. I'm talking about the entire unit. I'm talking about, because this is not the first time that we've seen this unit play this way. It's not the first time we've seen the unit play like this. It's been happening all season long.
And the bench been saving us all season long.
All season. When do you send the message to them? Or you just let it continue? At some point, you got to send some kind of a message. That's why you have a coach. You have a coach to hold the players accountable.
Tonight was a message. The bench played the whole fourth quarter.
Right,
Their starters were cheerleaders, $1 million cheerleaders.
But listen, I think it's a different kind of a message because the starters look at it tonight. They know that they weren't playing well. They expect in this game that they're not going to get in because they're not playing. This is not sending a message to them to say, if you're not working hard, I'm not going to play you. This is the team that was winning us the game. And I think those are two different things. This team was winning us the game, so I'm going to play you. But you know what? I'm going to let you know. I'm going to let you know that no matter what happens, I'm not going to play you if you're not going to give effort. Those are two different things.
Sam, let me ask you a question. What message do you want to send to the starters?
That you've got to come out and play with effort. If you that we have a standard, and if you're not going to uphold the standard that we set for this team, that you set on a stand in front of a microphone and said, this is us. This is what we do. If you're not going to uphold that standard, then your ass don't need to be on the floor.
But guess what? You just said that they understand that they didn't play that well, and they know that. That's the reason why they sat for the last 15 minutes
well
of the game.
and
so
not
the message got across.
Wait a minute. See, playing well, not working hard are two different things.
Sam, but that's the message that you want to send. And you
I want to send the message that they're not working hard. Not that they didn't play well. You can work hard and not play well. I want to send the message that they're not working hard. That they're not getting effort.
Message? You don't think they got that message tonight?
They might just think, Julius Randle might just think I was off. I didn't hit my shots, but I played hard. He might think he played hard.
What if they don't? What if they think they didn't play hard?
I don't know what they think, but Kemba Walker might think he played hard. It's up to the coach to say, you didn't play hard enough for my standards. So I don't care what you think. You didn't play hard enough for my standards. That's the message that he has to send, in my opinion.
In the middle of a 3-game win streak.
Middle of a 3-game win streak.
You can't make this message during the losing streak. You'd have no messages during the losing streak. But now during a 3-game win streak, you're about to have 500 at New Year's Day.
You know what? Sometimes you send the biggest messages when you are winning. Hold up. Tom Thibodeau says it all the time. When you're winning, you let a lot of little shit go because you're winning. Sometimes it's the best time to send a message. I tell my players all the time, just because you're winning, that's when you work harder. Because you have the tendency to lose a lot of those little things. When your shot is going and it's hitting, and there's a certain little thing that you're doing that's hitting that may be bad habits, then all of a sudden you're not hitting, what do? You go back to the basics.
But if you pull that card now, then what do you do next? Let's say you pull that card and then you mess up the win streak. Now we back to losing. So instead of 500, now we 2 games under 500 heading into the new year. And then all of a sudden we no longer that 500 team in the playoff hunt. Now we sitting around 12th, 13th, 14th in the league. Bro. When we come up on that trade deadline, maybe they're not thinking we're Derrick Rose away from a run. Maybe they're thinking, you know what? Let's go back to the lottery for the next 10 years and hope that one day we can draft guys who we have
with the way this starting five is playing. With the way the starting five is playing, they'll come out tomorrow night and be down by 15 in the first quarter. Come out like that. Come out like that against OKC tomorrow. They'll be down by 15. Then what? Because they're playing like some trash.
That was going to be my question, Sam. What happens if we don't bench the starters, right? And just flip it around. Thibodeau puts the starters out there. The OKC gets off to a 12-0 run, and Tib benches the starters. Is that okay? Is that fine? Is that not insulting to them?
Well, see, that's two different things. Now you're talking about what the score is going to be and how they play, right? If they actually work hard. So again, this whole thing just keeps constantly shifting. And I think when you make drastic moves like that, it's going to keep shifting. And I think you have the potential to lose the locker room right now. And I think the caller is absolutely right. We're a couple games under 500 or 1 game under 500 right now, right? The Knicks are starting to build some momentum with a win streak. I get they didn't play that well, but you sent the message tonight by not playing them the last 15 minutes of the game. To me, that's a good enough message, and I think they understand that they didn't play that well.
But because they could have been playing hard but not playing well and still been benched.
Say again?
I said I just don't think it sends the message that they're not working hard, because they could have been working hard but not playing well and still been benched. When you send a message that you're not playing hard, that's a direct message. That's a specific thing. I don't like you're not upholding our standards.
And you worried about losing the locker room with our guys on this team when Popovich didn't care about benching 3 All-Stars?
In the playoffs? I'm saying,
Unfortunately, the Knicks are not the Spurs. The Knicks don't have a Greg Popovich who's been a coach for the last 25 years that can be able to do something like that for the same organization. They don't have that. And I just think in the NBA, like, you know what I'm saying, it's just very difficult to pull something like that off when you have a players type of league. In the NBA, it's very hard to pull that off. Okay. I'm not saying it won't work. Listen, I'm all for whatever's going to work. If you think that's going to work, Sam, I'm all for it. But again, I'm just worried about that other part of it that, you know, people don't talk about. On the surface, they say, okay, we should do this, but
I'm also worried about that other part of it. I'm also worried about that other part of it because the group that is playing well will start to look and say, we're playing well, but as soon as I travel, you throw me on the bench and put in a guy that's not playing well. As soon as I miss a couple of shots, you put me on the bench, put in someone who can't hit a three. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to what's that going to do to those guys? Same thing.
I think eventually their time will come. The young guys, eventually their time will come.
Obviously. So it'll come tomorrow. Hey, Nikki, I appreciate your call, man. Thank you for the time. Love the debate. Love the conversation.
Always.
Great call, man. Great call.
Sam, I'm gonna say one quick thing. I know you mentioned last season the expectations, you know, and this season the expectations are different, but just like last season, I think during the course of the season, expectations change. And I think this season, although we had higher expectations than last season, I just think that the Knicks have regressed as a team. And I don't think it's regressed to the point where, you know, I'm going to panic over the next few years. I just think that it's a regression, you know, that we're not going to be a fourth seed, right? We're not going to win the same amount of games that we did last year, but there's still some things that we can continue to build on. So, yeah, I think expectations change, and it always does. And right now, the Knicks just aren't a good, at least that first unit is just not a good unit, which hurts us collectively. So,
yeah, I mean, expectations do change. And, you know, our expectations for this season were a lot higher than what they were, you know, last season. Obviously, through the season, we don't know what the expectation for this team is right now because we just know that something needs to happen to shake up that starting unit. And when I say shake it up, I'm not just talking about changes in the unit. I'm talking about them playing. Something needs to happen to send a message to them to say, y'all got to get it together. Y'all got to come out and play with effort every night. You can miss as many shots as you want. Come out and give us something when you're out there on the floor. You know what I mean? Let's listen to Tom Thibodeau. Let's see what Tom Thibodeau has to say. We know what Tom Thibodeau is going to say. This is another game. They're going to get a chance. You know, I'm going to play the guys that's going to play. We know what he's going to say.
The game will dictate what you do.
You started there at the start of the second half. Did you see what happened?
Well, you know, what we were thinking coming in, you know, and we had issues like yesterday, travel issues. So we knew it was going to be a challenge, and just like the whole thing was, let's just find a way to win. And so no excuses. And we just felt we'll find some people that can get something done. And that's what we did. So, the start, I thought our defense was good at the start of the game. We missed some open shots. Bench came in and gave us, and those guys, it's in some ways that was a blessing. Those guys were out and now they're back in, so their energy was real high, and they played great. And so just find a way to win. And the guys, usually it's, the bench guys come in and they play, and the starters come back and finish. And our bench guys are very supportive of the starters, and our starters were very supportive of the bench guys closing the game. And that's what you need. You need to be a team. And so, and when you look at the impact that, Deuce had with ball pressure, that was huge for us. And then Alec had a monster game quickly. And Taj Gibson, can't say enough about the guy. And Obi, energy plays, and guarding, Bay, who had it going pretty good. So we had a number of guys step up.
What time did you go into?
Doesn't matter. I play the games late, early, whatever. I don't know when it was. Just, everyone has those issues, and we don't want to make any excuses. Just find a way to win. Get it done. And that's the mentality we want to have.
I mean, Alec Burks, the efficiency and the smoothness, is it just...
Yeah, it was vintage, with the way he played. And then, you can't, overstate how important Taj was. with his defense, and not only his defense, but what he did offensively. Set a million picks, rolled hard to the rim, and you got to get the pressure on the rim, and they were blitzing. We were short roll, and he's making plays. So just digging down and making play after play, huge, and that's what I love about those veterans. Alec and Taj are true pros, and then the young guys and Deuce and Quick and Obi, that combination was very, very effective.
Is Julius not moving as well? Is there some kind of limit?
Well, he's nicked up, and I think that he's given us everything he has, and that's what I love about him. You're not making any excuses. He just gets out there, he keeps going. So, and we have a number of guys, Kemba getting out there. The thing is we had, I think people are being aggressive with him, which is good for us in the sense that anytime we get two on the ball, if we make the right plays, it's easy offense. And I thought we did. Kemba doesn't fight pressure. He'll get rid of it quick, and we can move it quick, and we're going to get a great shot off of that. And so, but we missed some of those shots. We couldn't get a rhythm going with our threes early. But the defense was strong overall, and some nights you're not going to shoot it well, but you still want to have the ability to win the game.
What happened to Evan?
Yeah, he's nicked up pretty good too. That was a late scratch. He tried to give it a go, he just couldn't get it to loosen up. So, we wanted to take the precaution of sitting him.
I mean, to come out in the third quarter like that, I know you called it early timeout just to stop it, but they kept continuing with what? How do you explain it?
Yeah, well, it's and that's the challenge of this league. It's back to back. It's and they're young, they're hungry. They're pushing pace. They're blitzing us, and so that's going to take some energy out of you. And but that's why we have a bench. And but the bench guys went in as soon as they went in. It changed. So some nights it's a starter, some nights it's a bench, some nights it's a combination of both. But you need everyone. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Safe travels.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that right there was Tom Thibodeau. Of course, that's on the New York Knicks YouTube page. You can go follow their YouTube page, youtube.com/New York Knicks. And, you'll be able to get all of their post-game interviews and other types of interviews and little clips that they have on the website or on the YouTube channel, that is. Any thoughts about what you heard from Tom Thibodeau? Really not much there, the usual for the most part. Any thoughts by anybody?
I know a lot of people want to see Tibbs come down hard on the starters, hold them accountable in the media. But again, another part of coaching, and I think Sim could attest to this, is you don't want to call your players out, especially in front of the media, in front of everyone. If you are going to hold them accountable, you do it in private, particularly the veteran guys. They at least deserve that type of, earn that respect around the league, the amount of years they've been playing. So I'm just glad that Tibbs isn't holding them accountable like most fans want them to do in the media in front of the press.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. You don't do that. You know what I mean? You handle that stuff inside, any weakness that a player has, this or that, you discuss it behind closed doors. You don't come out in the media and say this, that, and the third. You just do what you're going to do, and you handle it as a team, as a group. You know what I mean? That is bad when coaches do that. I think that's not cool. You know what I mean? Because you're supposed to feel like your coach has your back. Whether if they take you out the lineup, put you in the lineup, whatever it is, you want to feel like, but my coach is going to support me and defend me in the media, whatever it is. Like even with, the Kemba Walker situation. You know what I'm saying? Like Tom Thibodeau didn't come out and say, oh, the guy's just slow. The guy can't do this. He can't do that. He said, I still think he's a starter in this league, but this is what we're doing right now. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's how you're going to. Any other thoughts on Tom Thibodeau?
It's just the same old stuff,
Yeah.
Get Tony.
Nah, the same dude in the chat from yesterday's. He's like liar. Everything Tim says is a lie.
Right. Let me get to a phone call real quick. Call you live, man. Tell me your name and where you're from.
Yo, what up? Yo, this is Rodney, bro, from Malden, Massachusetts, man. What's going on?
What's going on with you, brother? How you feeling, man?
Oh man, I'm feeling good, yo. You guys are having a good show right now. No bro, yo, Josh, I got so much to say to you, bro, but I'm gonna just leave it, bro. I've been waiting for so long. I'm about to get on the 2K right now, so I don't even want to be on the call for too long. But I want to eat you alive. Pause, bro. I gotta kill you, but I'm not gonna do it right now, bro. There's so much stuff that you're saying, but Sim handled you. Sim handled you, bro. He handled you. Listen, Sim, I'm in agreement with you, bro. Just take them out, bench them in the beginning. Let the bench players who earned their minutes get the little starting lineup call, get the feel of being a starter because they earned it. Because, yo, the starters, mainly to me, Julius, oh, God. Because, listen, it starts with your best player. It starts with your best player, the player who gets the most hype, who gets all the magazine love, all the pictures about his family, all of the props. It starts with him. I'm telling you. Other guys are looking at Julius on the lineup. Other guys are looking at Julius and Evan Fournier not play defense, not give any effort or anything. Dude with the hat for New York, my fault, man. Sorry to mess up your name, bro. He made a good point when RJ just was on a chase down and he didn't even attempt it. I'm telling you, certain guys are just kind of like, yo, you know what, bro? He's not doing it. I'm not going to do it either. He's not going to play with effort. I'm not going to play with effort either at all. To go to an earlier point, Josh said RJ played a miserable game. He had a miserable game. How?
How many points did Hamidou Diallo score today?
A couple of plays on defense. He had a decent offensive game. He just came back from COVID. What you want him to score 30? Like what? 2 games removed from being out of the protocol? I don't.
Well, it's not Rodney. It's not about production. Again, for me. It's not about production. It's how he plays with that unit on the floor. That's always been my thing with RJ. RJ can come out and score 15, but I'm looking at the other stuff too.
On that floor. How he plays with the unit on that floor. To me, I think the main culprit is Julius Randle, personally. The main culprit is him because he's not – I said this last year when we were winning and everybody was happy about Julius and wanted to anoint him the second coming. Stop. He was never better than Melo. He's not going to be better than Melo. His playing style is very much draining. He's an isolation player. But everybody says, but how? He averages 5, 6, 7 assists. He's ball dominant with the ball in his hand. He's a power forward version of Russell Westbrook, bro. He has assists. He has assists that you have to make. Like if he didn't make that assist, it'll be egregious. He very rarely makes plays where I'm like, wow, I didn't see that pass coming, or wow, I didn't see that play coming. He very rarely makes plays that a LeBron makes. He's not LeBron, but a LeBron makes, or a Chris Paul makes, or a Giannis makes in terms of playmaking and creating for others. He makes plays or passes that it's very obvious. He's ball dominant, back to the basket, long twos, like slow decisions. And I'm telling you, it's very hard when you're standing there on the wings as an Evan Fournier, even though I don't like Evan, or an RJ Barrett, and you're sitting there just watching him ball handle, and then he tosses you a bad pass with 5 seconds left, and then now you're supposed to create. I believe the offense should be ran through Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker and Julius has to play off ball, but I don't mind him grabbing a rebound in transition, and then he can dribble up the ball. But this constant bringing up the ball, you notice somebody must have had a talk with him. Somebody had a talk with him because you notice either the injury was bothering him today, or he really just was not trying to. His head wasn't in it because he wasn't very ball dominant today. Somebody definitely talked to him. If he can play like this playing style where he
it's been like that for the last few games, though. I think it's been like that for the last few games where it's not just him. He's not ball dominant. This is. See,
Kemba came back.
But here's the thing. Everybody wants to blame Randall, but this is what Tibbs is asking him to do. Let's not forget that.
I didn't get to that point, though. Sam, I'm going to let you finish. I didn't get to that point. I believe the main culprits are Julius Randle and Tibbs. I'm the caller, if y'all don't remember specifically, that said Tibbs is going to they're going to get rid of Tibbs, and Johnny Bryant hopefully should be the guy that steps in. I said that like a year ago. I never liked Tibbs, and I never liked Julius. Go ahead, though.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, this is what Tibbs is asking him to do. Mm-hmm. Recently, you've seen the ball come out of his hands.
Right.
Tibbs is probably now asking, okay, we want Kemba Walker to be the primary ball handler, right? So, while we're saying, he wants to be ball dominant, this and that, and this and that. This is what's being asked of him.
Here's my thing, though. Here's my thing. I've seen players, a LeBron, a Russell Westbrook, for God's sakes, other players. At the end of the day, you're on the floor, you're playing. Prime example, Coach Sim. I know you're the type of guy that, Coach, that even if, let's say, a person takes a bad shot and it goes in, you'll probably talk to them later like, yo, I didn't like that shot. Let's not try to do that, but good shot at the end of the day. At the end of the day, players are making the plays, right? They're on the court. Yes, Sim may be asking him to do that. At the end of the day, you have to know what's better for the team. Look at the second unit.
Rodney, hold on. Rodney, right, this is Josh. Let me ask you a question. Based on what you just said, players can know that they need to do what they need to do, right? How come Kemba Walker, as a veteran point guard, don't go to Julius Randle and say, I got it. I'm the point guard. Let me run it. Let me set up the team.
Beautiful. I talk to my brother about these things all the time. We live text, we live tweet. I love it. Here's the issue where I think what lies with the Knicks, bro. They don't have a Pat Bev, which is what Sim said, or to your point when you said about Russell Westbrook, who has that dog mentality to tell Randall, chill out. Personally, I've always said it to my bro. I believe Derrick Rose has the most cachet on the team to tell Julius Randle, yo, chill out, bro. You're bugging out. But it's not in their personality. Him and Kemba Walker. There's not another guy on this team who it's in their personality to go out and tell him, yo, relax, calm down, bro. You're bugging out.
So how is that all on Randall, though? That's the point. How is that all on Randall for the roster construction around him? As far as bringing the ball up and
but my thing is,
don't want to take over the ring.
You have to be self-aware, though, Josh.
Like, but he passes the ball. He passes the ball too much.
You know what I realized he passes the ball. Another thing I think Julius Randle does, he reads the press clippings and he clearly sees what the city feels about him.
I do agree. I agree with that. I agree with that. I think he does.
You know he does because that's why he starts passing the ball. Because don't get me wrong, I don't like Julius Randle at all personally. Like I'm talking about like on the court, basketball wise. I have no issues with him personally, but because I would much rather him have success because I'm a Knicks fan first. But you can see when he's like passing the ball and he's like hesitant and all of that, you can tell he's like, yo, if I do this and I miss the shot, fans are gonna get up, bother me and all of that case. And he realizes, like, you know what, he makes it hesitant, and he doesn't know how to just play his game. I like when he just gets the ball, put his head down, attacks. He needs to be a mix of last year and his old Lakers bag. When he was in the Lakers and he was bully ball Julius Randle, that's where I found that he was very much more effective. It's almost a detriment that he's worked on his skills so much because now he thinks he's Carmelo Anthony in his prime. It's like, bro, listen, pick and pop, pick and roll, a couple of isolation plays, bury in the low post, turn over your left shoulder, fade away. This dribble. Another thing, too, I don't think the teammates be calling out when people is coming to double team him. Because sometimes you see a player run from across the court and go take the ball from him. So it's a starting five thing. So to go back to the beginning point I had, I believe Sim is right, man. Just take him out for the next game because I've been saying this for a while. I wasn't a big fan of the Obi pick because I didn't believe we had a point guard for Obi. Obi needs a point guard. There's too many times Obi's just running laps for no reason. But Obi's proved me wrong. He's become a better player. Playing 15 minutes on nights when you're playing better than Randall, that's unacceptable by Tibbs. Unacceptable. He has to go too. That's a story for another day.
Yeah. Hey, Rodney, I hear you, man. You running out of breath on me, bro. Like you going. You got me breathing hard. You got me breathing hard. You know what I'm saying? You got me breathing hard.
To get Josh earlier, man.
You got me breathing hard.
But hung up.
Yeah.
My man, bro. He always makes good points. My man on the bottom left, he's doing his thing. Josh, bro. I need my battle of the fans.
Well, listen, we're going to get you on the controversy then with Josh.
I need him.
We're going to get you on the controversy.
I'll let you guys go.
Appreciate you, Roddy, man.
I got on there a few years ago, but how do I get on the panel? Is there a website?
I'll text you. I'll send you a message on Twitter. I'll message you.
All right.
We'll get you on.
Appreciate it, brother. All right, fellas. Have a good one, man. I'm about to get on the 2K.
All right. Peace. We gonna get you. We gonna get you and him on the controversy, man. We're gonna get you guys on the controversy. But you know, I mean, he's a guy. Listen, if you follow him on Twitter, he does not like Randall at all.
No, he does not.
He don't like Randall at all. You know what I'm saying?
I got something. I don't want to be like I'm not bashing anybody. Okay. You know, I love my Knicks, but just dug this up real quick. You know, I was waiting, you know, I was the caller. Anyway, and maybe y'all heard this before. In 455 minutes without Randall on the court this year, the Knicks are outscoring teams by 15.9 points per 100 possessions, which of course would be an all-time record. Yeah, he must be really nicked up. That was from Jonathan Macri in Knicks Film School. So it just is an interesting stat.
So, say that again.
In 455 minutes without Randall on the court this year, the Knicks are outscoring teams by 15.9 points per 100 possessions.
So who's on the floor? Because, and here's where I think that's flawed. And this is where people are going to say, well, you're defending Randall. I'm not defending Randall, but here's why I think it's flawed. And I think it's really flawed. Because Randall is never, when Randall's not on the floor, most of the time, the opposing team's best player is not on the floor. And I think that makes a big difference. So, yeah, it could be that way.
That is a good point because he plays a hell of a lot of minutes. So, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you watch what Tom Thibodeau does, if the Knicks are playing the Bucks, when Giannis comes out, Randall comes out. If Giannis comes back in, Randall comes back in. You've seen it tonight. Now, obviously, because the starters were playing so bad, they had to change things up. But if you look at the second quarter, I believe it was, Sadiq Bey and Amadou Diallo came in, Julius Randle came in, and RJ Barrett, I believe, came in. Right? You know, so I think, you know, every time people point at stats like that, I think it's a little bit of a mistake.
I know the Knicks tonight.
Right? I think it's a little bit of a mistake because of the way of the substitution patterns are. You know what I'm saying? When Julius Randle is off the floor, the opposing team's best player is usually off the floor. When he comes back in, so now, you know, if those best players are playing well or better than Randle, right now Randle's playing terribly, so a lot of guys are playing better than him, yeah, that's going to happen. So I think, you know, I think what you have to, to me, the only way that stat counts, in my opinion, is if Randle's off the floor and Obi is on the floor against the opposing team's starters. That's when that stat would count to me, right? Because they're playing different people. So you can always say, yeah, when he's off the floor, the other, you know, the Knicks are scoring better, but that means when RJ's off the floor, they're probably scoring better. When Kemba's off the floor, they're probably scoring better, right? Now, sometimes he mixes RJ in with the second unit. You know what I'm saying? So I think, you know, you got to look at that I think you got to look at it in a different way. Go ahead, Tone.
Another stat, just to prove your argument. Julius Randle, top 5 defensive power forward this year. He's 5. At the
you ain't got to tell him that, Tony. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that.
I'm just saying. So not only is he on the floor,
I didn't hear what you said. Say that again.
He's number 5 at his position in defensive rating.
Okay. So
not only is, you know, that he's on the floor against the other guys, but he's doing a good job against the team's best, you know what I mean, the power forward on the other side. So you got to take that into account as well. But that is an interesting stat. I just hate analytics because you can manipulate what you're looking for to make any argument you want. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's always a tricky thing with me.
Yeah, you know, and some stuff are very surface analytics. Some stuff, right. You know, I think you always got to look at some of the, you know, what's happening in the game and what are the rotations like and who is he on the floor with, and you know, you got to look at those type of things.
Variables.
And I will say that that what you said is that's a fair stat for Julius Randle at the power forward position versus power forwards. That doesn't point to his defense on the perimeter with guards and small forward, you know, but he does play. I mean, we've seen him play even like Giannis. He played Giannis very well when they match up. So he probably does do a really good job against his matchup when it comes to that. So I can see that.
Minus today. That stat was from last night.
Right. But I will say 2 things I wanted to point out real quick. The Knicks got lucky because the bench played so well, and Alec Burks dropped 34 on them. But because we definitely could, Hamidou Diallo, we could have been a victim of homicide. I mean, I'm just telling you, it's real. He gets busy out there sometimes.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I said this before a couple, shows ago, like a couple weeks ago or something, when I was talking about the G League, when I was looking at when McBride was down there, I was trying to quantify how good he could be if we played him. You know who was the number 1 player in the G League throughout that whole time period? Sadiq Bey. So Sadiq Bey can ball. He just, maybe his matchup on the Knicks took him a little lightly, but Sadiq Bey can get buckets.
Yeah. I wanted the Knicks to draft him.
Yes,
I wanted Sadiq Bey on his team.
Shout out to you, and I think CK2K wanted him bad too.
I wanted him on his team. Let me get to this phone call. Caller, you live. Please tell me your name and where you're from. Hey, yo, my man, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, please.
Yeah, what's going on with you, man? Name, where you from?
I'm from Long Island. This is Sam.
Sam, what's going on with you, bro? How you feeling?
Yeah, good evening, guys. I mean, I always enjoy your show. Every night I watch this after the game.
Thank you.
We're a little bit too pessimistic, a little bit too hard on the Knicks tonight. We won 3 straight games. As a fan for the Knicks for over 50 years, we got to be a little more positive sometimes.
Okay.
Those guys played yesterday. Let's not be too hard on them. Rondo played 38 minutes yesterday. All right? Grimes, rookie, played 31 minutes yesterday. You could see from the first 5 minutes, they don't have their legs. They couldn't play defense. They couldn't shoot. It's just that, again, when we look at the team, we should talk about the coach. He's not holding his players accountable. The problem with Rondo is because he gave me a passway. He could do anything he wants to do. That comes from tips. We can't keep blaming Rondo all the time. Okay? He goes there like tonight, he committed 3 consecutive turnovers. Come on, guy. Any coach will say, hey, you got to get out of the game. Let me talk to you. But he doesn't do that. He leaves him there. I really think that we're still going to do better. Right now, we're playing the Thunder on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what they come in on Friday. I was so glad that he allowed the bench to play the whole game. I was saying to myself, if he bring the starters back in the 4th quarter, I was going to yell out in New York tomorrow, go to Times Square and say, fire this guy. He needs to be fired. But finally, thank God, he kept the bench in there. You know they're going to win the game for him, and they won the game for him.
Yeah.
TV is like this. When he likes starting players, like Rose or Rondo, he plays them to death. And that's not good for any team. Everybody's talking about Rondo issues, but the coach is not holding Rondo accountable. Okay, tonight, I don't think I'm really for the coach to bench all the starter at this point. Let's see what they do on Thursday. On Friday, the next game. If Rondo continues this path, they said Rondo is a little bit lips up. You have a little injury right now. He's going to play. The coach have so much confidence in him. He's going to play. Okay, and then we come back on Friday and don't play well. The coach needs to take him out. We need to see Obi Toppin, like yesterday. He took Obi Toppin out. Obi Toppin only played 10 minutes. Look what happened to Rondo today. He has nothing left. So I just hope that hopefully, if we could continue, if we could win the next game, we make it 4 straight. Maybe everybody start to buckle up a little bit. So please, on a positive note, we're on the right track right now.
Okay.
Let's talk something good about the Knicks.
Okay.
At this point.
All right.
Okay. I enjoyed listening to you guys, but I really feel good tonight that we're able to win the 3rd game in a row. That's my take for this tonight.
Okay. Hey, Sam, I appreciate you because you're probably right. I know we've been rough on the Knicks all night long, and they just won their 3rd game in a row. They just held a team to under 90 points for 3 games in a row.
That's correct.
Right? You're probably right. We've been rough on them tonight.
And that's not usually our MO.
It isn't. It is. I think he knows. He watches the show. But we've been rough on him tonight. There's no doubt about it. I was excited last night, even though it was a tough game. I thought that we pulled out a gritty win So I really did like that win last night, even though we were playing a team that had a lot of players in COVID protocol. I thought they were a scrappy team. We pulled out a gritty win. I was just disappointed in the play of the starters tonight. Really disappointed.
I understand. But at the end, we got a victory, man.
You're right about that.
We got a
That's
victory.
what counts. That's what
we
counts.
won the game.
That's what counts.
Okay.
Yep, we're back in the play-in, 17-18, one game below 500, back in the play-in, and we have a chance to get to 500 on Friday and then get above 500 if we can beat Toronto. So, and that's all possible.
Yeah, we're good. So I listen. I continue to listen to you guys. So keep on the good work, man.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sam, the voice of reason, man, had to come in and put it straight because we were smacking the Knicks like they just got beat by 30 by the Pistons. No lies about it, man. We was smacking them like they just got beat by 30. I guess in the end, though, he's right. We got the win. We found a way to get the win. However we had to do it, we found a way to get the win. But the process means something. The process means something, right? And I'll use this example. I can take the ball, close my eyes, and throw it up, and it goes in. Yay, I made it. But how many times am I going to do that and be successful? Right? But the process of me actually having my elbow tucked, looking at the rim, getting up, follow through, and me making the shot means something. That process means something because that means I can duplicate it and do it again.
You don't think what the Knicks are doing right now is all a part of the process?
I think it is a part of the process of them developing, but the effort, the lack of effort that we've seen a lot from that starting five, I think that's going against the process.
And I just want to say that I don't have look on the surface. I don't have a problem with how these games have been played if this was last year's Knicks, but I feel like we've already been through this. So our team should be playing better against this type of competition right now. Like these wins should be easy wins. There might be points in the game where things don't look great, but at the end of the day, we should be winning comfortably against a team that's using G League players.
You're right. You're right, but it's not last year's Knicks. That's the thing.
And how come people just can't accept that their expectations for the team were wrong? How come people just can't accept that? I don't understand how that's so hard.
But were your expectations below 500?
Huh?
Were your expectations below 500?
Yeah, I'm accepting that it was wrong. No, it was above 500. I'm saying I'm accepting that it was wrong. I'm personally accepting that.
I agree with that. I said they was going to win 50 games.
But my expectation is still that they should be above 500. That's why I still have expectations of this team to be above 500.
He won't accept it.
I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I had them at the 5th or 6th seed. I didn't have them at the 4th seed. I had them at 5th or 6th. Right? I still have expectations of this team to be above 500. I'm sorry.
They very well may be above 500 next week.
They might be, and I hope so, because my expectations are that they're a team that's better than 500.
And I think I hope people understand. People watching, people in the chat. I don't have an issue with us, possibly losing games or having a record that's not good. I know we can get back to that if we play good basketball. I have an issue with the type of basketball we're playing against the competition that we're playing. Look, anybody, you can be beaten by any team in the NBA. That's why it's the NBA. Any team could beat you, but that doesn't mean you got to play like if it wasn't for 34 points from Alec Burks, we would not win this game. Like I just think that that's the part that's being missed. We got saviors that happened tonight. The defense, the effort, that stuff that Tibbs never gives Obi credit for, but he throws it. He throws Obi in always last in his press conferences. and Obi played good. He did good defense. Effort. What about the other stuff that Obi does? He don't just give effort. He gets after it and he plays with more than just effort. He does other things. He gives you stuff in limited minutes. You gave him more minutes, maybe Obi do more for you. That's all I'm saying.
I mean,
Maybe if you had a competent point guard that could find them, he'd do more for you.
Hey, you know what? Listen,
But we don't.
This is our longest win streak of the season. I mean, I do have to give it up, for the people saying, hey, you guys are smacking them. It is our longest win streak of the season. Right? It's the first time this season we've won 3 games in a row. We've climbed back into contention. We're back in the play-in. So I guess there should be some cheer to go around. There should be some cheer to go around.
Sin, we started 5-1, so we had to have won 3 in a row early.
That's what I thought, but maybe we didn't.
We won the first 2.
We were 5-1. Somewhere we had to win 3, right?
No, we won the first
3
2.
in a row.
Then
lost to Orlando, and then we won the next 3.
Maybe we did win 3.
Yeah,
so maybe it's our second time. Maybe we
had to.
Did win 3 somewhere. Yes. Okay, so maybe it's our second time, but it's our first time having a winning streak since November, or something like that.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
And we're currently 9th in the standings right now.
Oh, look at that! We moved up. We were 12th.
Yeah, we're 9th in the standings.
And this is our time.
We're 9th in the standings. Right now.
And I'll tell you this: early in the season, I had made a comment. I don't know if it was like when we were 5-1 or not, but I said we're winning. We're not playing well, but we're winning games, right? And that's pretty much what's going on right now. I'm not as excited about it as I was when I first made that comment early in the year, but I'm definitely it's still the same type of value in it. You know what I mean? Like a win is a win, and it's experience for the young guys now. Like that wasn't the case early in the year. The young guys actually weren't playing well, or the bench, I should say. But now they are. So hopefully by the end of the year, with all these different things happening, we just all put it together. You know what I mean? Same thing I said last year. If we start gelling towards the end, peaking towards the end, going into the playoffs, I think we'll be fine. And there's no telling where we end up. May not get 50 wins, but we might still get the 60. Might still avoid the play-in.
Let's see what we can do. Let's hear Alec Burks, and then we'll get some last words. This is Alec Burks on his game tonight. 34 points from Alec Burks. Saved the Knicks from the worst defeat of the season.
Just exploded in the second half. I mean, just what were you feeling?
Just trying to be aggressive, trying to play up our defense. I feel like we got stops and just trying to be aggressive. That's all. Trying to help my team where I could, having a ball tonight. So.
Because as a unit, that second unit, I think, with the last 15 minutes together, just kind of what you saw from that whole group, what Miles gave you, what all the young guys that Taj gave you.
Man, it was phenomenal effort. We just played hard. We just came in, trying to play hard, try to turn the game around. We just make plays on the defensive man, shut on the offensive man. We all make great plays for each other.
I mean, did you feel like, the starters were just struggling a bit? I mean, did you feel like you had to get going? Or this was going to be a real embarrassment?
Sometimes it happens. 82-game season. Sometimes it happens. Everybody has to bring something every night. That's why you got so many great players on our teams. It just happens.
Just in terms of moving forward, I mean, you guys have Oklahoma. I know the flight was a situation. I mean, do you think that was a factor in maybe you guys not being completely sharp tonight?
I guess. I don't know. let's say it. I guess I don't know. At the end of the day, we're all professionals. We get in late a lot of times. So I'm just proud of the effort my team had tonight and came out and won.
Could there, I mean, in Oklahoma, you could get back to 500. I mean, do you feel like that 2022, I mean, you're ready to get into the winning record? I mean, do you feel like this team is starting to come together as a winning team?
I think so. But, it's a long year. It's ups and downs in the NBA season. You have a bad 2 weeks, you have a great month, you have another bad 2 weeks, it just happens like that. But I feel like our team is growing. Everybody's trying to figure out their roles, how they play with each other. It's just getting better. I think every game shows that.
Do you see even off the court that you guys, kind of what you guys did last year, kind of grew as the year went on? kind of see that with this year's team?
I think so too. I think it came a little quicker last year just because everybody was locked in. You know, we couldn't do nothing, couldn't leave the room, hotel, so we all was locked in everywhere. This year, I guess we're about to get back locked in. So it's coming around like that too. So I just like we got great chemistry on and off the court. So it's showing the game. Appreciate you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Alec Burks. And of course, you can subscribe to the New York Knicks YouTube channel to get more Knicks videos. So make sure you do that as soon as this video is over. And we're about to head up out of here, ladies and gentlemen. But that was Alec Burks. And, you know, he said something there. He said everybody was locked in, you know, because of COVID and all of that kind of stuff. Do you think that's playing a big part in, you know, what we're seeing from the Knicks so far this season, that maybe everyone isn't there? You know, last year they were forced to be locked in, and maybe, you know, their attention span is taken this way, that way, and the third. Think that plays a part in it, Ron?
I mean, it's not something that's far-fetched. I mean, listen, the only thing that I can say about watching these guys play the game that they love and we love to watch them play is that there's a lot of other things that goes on outside of basketball. They got families and people are getting sick all over the place, left and right. Every other day there's somebody else being added to the protocol. These guys are traveling from city to city. You know, they're moving around, being surrounded by people and stuff like that. There's just a lot of things going on, and maybe, you know, sometimes that takes away from their focus as to you know, what they should be worrying about or being more concerned about. And I said before that they don't have fun out there. You know, the first time I seen them have fun all season, you know, since the beginning, the first couple weeks, was that Christmas Day game. That's the first time in a long time that I actually seen them just go out there, play ball, and have fun. And it doesn't matter who the competition is, that's how they looked. So yeah, there could be something to that. And obviously a guy like Burks and a guy like Randall, who both have just recently had babies, you know, there might be other stuff going on that, you know, no matter what you try to do and focus through, it's just tough.
Yeah. Now, what do you think, Josh? Think it's playing a part? I mean, because everything Ron said is right. You know, just all this stuff that's, you know, going on right now is obviously a distraction for everybody, but there's other teams playing well.
Right, and yeah, every team is going through this whole thing with the pandemic and the health and safety protocols and things of that nature. So, you know, I'm not saying it's an excuse, because every team is going through it, but I think it is affecting this team, just like it's affecting any other team. And you know, when people say, well, you know, the Knicks beat these teams, other teams, because they had injuries, and the Knicks had injuries too. So I'm using that same logic here, right? Every team is going through the same thing, and we're just not playing good basketball, point blank, plain and simple. You know, you can blame it on one thing or blame it on the other, but I think every team is going through some of these similar issues. So it just is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
But I just want to say one more thing. The only thing about the Knicks, which is a little different, which it shouldn't be, it's all the same. For an extended period of time, the Knicks were able to kind of avoid this. Yeah, we had Burks, who dealt with it a while ago, and Rose, who dealt with it. For the most part, the Knicks looked like they were Teflon for a minute. They weren't, you know, there was no cases. Now we're getting hit left and right. So maybe that could affect them on the whole too, because other teams have been dealing with it all year, but the Knicks haven't.
Yeah. Tony, any thoughts on it?
The only thing that made me question like the COVID thing is how it was consecutive back to back to back. We losing two, which made me wonder, was the source somewhere within the organization? You know what I mean? And but as far as the effect on the play and everything, I agree with Josh. I think every team is dealing with it. I mean, look at the team we played today.
Right.
They look how much they was affected by it with G Leaguers and you know what, 7 players that wasn't on the team. So yeah, I mean, you gotta adapt and adjust and fight through it. I'm glad we got the win.
Yeah.
Just try to keep it going.
We got the win, man. And you know, despite the way it looks and sounds up here, ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks got the win 94-85. We are happy that the Knicks got the win. There's no doubt about it. we're happy. You know, just the way we rejoice sometimes is a little bit different than the way you rejoice. That's all. But anyway, you know, Randall just hit me up, told me to cash app him that money back. You know, he said, you know, I don't like what you're saying. Cash app me that money back right now. You know what I mean? But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get up out of here. I appreciate your time. We will do a shoot around tomorrow. You know, probably delve into some of the same discussions, maybe with cooler heads. You know, we talk a little bit about, you know, how Tom Thibodeau should approach this team, you know, the day after in a shoot around. What's your conversation with the team? You know, that's what the shoot around is all about. Then we cover a lot of other things that have to do with the Knicks, NBA, etc. All right, so make sure you check us out there. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed. All right, smash that like button. I mean, and, you know, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Any last words, Josh, before we get out of here?
Alec Burks should be starting at the 3. I've been saying that for the last 12 months, and they ain't going to stop me from saying it now. 3-game winning streak for the Knicks. I'm happy about that. Excited that we're starting to build something. And obviously, we got to play better. The starters got to play better. But right now, I'll take it. I'll just take this 3-game winning streak, and let's build on it in the OKC.
All right.
Great show.
Hey, yeah, it was fun. It was a fun show. A real good one. We probably got to clip a couple of arguments out of here and post it. Tony?
Nah, man, as always, it's been a pleasure. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the panel. Slim, keep doing your thing. And your blackest time.
Yeah, Ron?
I don't really got, no, I got a lot to say. Now, real quick, just want to say salute to the chat. Definitely salute to the panel as always. Always fun chopping it up with you guys. Special shout out to Tony Crow and Steph for their mashup that's coming next week. It's the Queens Bruises or Nixon Court. I don't know. I don't know what it's gonna be called, but I'm looking forward to seeing that. That's gonna be dope. Definitely check out tomorrow. We back sort of. It's the NBA report at 8 p.m. So, you know, we're going to give you some content for the NBA report. And one good thing I want to say about Randall, guys, it's not all Randall bashing. And I even said this. I was watching along with a couple people. I said it was nice to see when it was a timeout and the bench took the lead. All the guys came off the court. Randall jumped right up and went to greet him, gave them all high fives. That's the type of leadership I want to see from Randall. That's the body language, and that's what he needs to show. It's much better for the whole team. Morale is boosted, so let's go.
All right, and you know, they did show some clips of the bench cheering, celebrating when the guys, you know, guys clapping, you know, doing some things. So it's not like the starters are sitting there soaking. Mm-hmm. You know, that's definitely a good thing because they supported the bench being out there on the floor, and that's what the bench needs. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are up out of here. I appreciate your time. Appreciate you joining us here on the show. Make sure you check us out tomorrow. Peace. We out of here.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Knick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench.